So for 6.1, which is the basics of counting covers two words that are important. Two important words. And, or. The word and the word or are used in, I want to count how to do something. So I want to count the number of ways to do a task, and that's one of the ways we can talk about this. And so here's the problem. How many ways to do a task? The ways that you do the task will depend on, and the way that you count this will depend on the words of, tell me what you're doing. And do you use the word and? Do you use the word or? And when you tell me what you do. Say, for example, how many ways to pick up a block of wood? There are 10 blocks. And then paint it. And let's say there are 6 colors. Versus if we had a different example. How many ways to pick a toy from a set of 6 army men or 21 robots? So I have a task for you to do, and you notice that when I ask you to do the task, you have the word, sometimes you use the word and, sometimes you use the word or. Now, one of the ways if we would see this idea of the and, what happens on the and, like what we have up above? One way of looking at this is this and, if you tell me what you're going to do, you're going to pick up a block of wood and then you are going to paint it. I could notice that this task has literally 2 components which form one thing. The task has not been completed until you have picked a block and then painted it. One way of looking at that is what I've actually formed is an ordered pair. Take a block and then pick a color, and that forms an ordered pair. That's one unique object. I picked a star piece of wood and I painted it blue. So star blue is actually one new thing. So the and is forming, actually, what's the cross product? What's the cardinality of all ordered pairs? That's what I'm looking for. Well, how do I do that? Well, all ordered pairs, we've already done this. This is just simply how many blocks do you have to pick, and then how many colors do you have to pick, and then you multiply them. It's a set of all cross products. And so if we would look at this, we would say for our example above, it would be, we're going to pick the block and pick color. How many ways could you do that? Well, how many blocks were there? Let's go back up again. How many blocks are there? 10. How many colors are there? 6. So I have 10. Well, I might as well go with the cardinality. I have 10 times 6, which is 60. There are 60 ways to do this. And you could actually, on the other hand, it also tells you how to generate it. Pick a block, pick the first color. Pick a block, pick the second color. Pick a block, right? Pick your first block. Let's say it's a square. Square blue, square red, square yellow, square green, right? And then you move to the next block. Red, blue, green, blah, blah, blah. Then you move to the next block. Red, blue, green. It's pretty straightforward on how you would generate all of those ordered pairs. We could generalize this to many sets. For many sets, which would be take something from A1, then take something from A2, then take something from A3, and then take something from AN. That's just equal, just multiply the cardinalities of all of them. So the word and, if I ask you to do this and this, what you're going to do is how many ways to do the first, how many ways to do the second, and then we multiply it. If we would give this a rule, what name should we probably give this? What name do you think the book gives it? It's a multiplication, right? So we call it the product rule. Personally, I would probably pick the and rule, but because that's the object that ties it together. And so this thing right here is called the product rule. When do you apply the product rule? When you have the word and. How do you figure out how to count things? Ask, what would I do to complete my task? And I strongly use words like and. If I say, all right, how many ways can you do the yard? Well, what do you mean? I want you to mow, and I want you to trim, and I want you to pick up the leaves. Then you'd ask, well, how many ways are that I could possibly mow? Right? Maybe you're interested in, I was like, well, there's just one way to do it. No. I want stripes this direction. I want stripes this direction. Right? It's like, oh, you mean there's more than one way to mow? Yeah, there's 5 ways for you to mow. Okay. And I want you to trim. Well, how many ways can I trim? I don't know. I've got the electric clipper. I got the hand clipper, especially if you're a dad and you want the kids to be busy. Not the electric. That's always fun because that always cuts itself, right? And so you could go through, and we ever run an electric clipper and you have the whole cord going behind you and you aren't paying attention and you just go right through that cord? It's always fun to cut through a 110. Anyways, you would just simply, if you say do this and this and this, you're going to take every one of those and multiply them. All right, next rule. What about the word or? So this is my product rule. If you have the word and, you are going to be multiplying. Uses the word and. We have to be careful, though. In English, the word and is used in 2 ways. And sometimes it doesn't mean to do the one and the other. Sometimes we use the word and when we mean the word or. Like, what buckets do you want me to bring? It's like, I need to take something out of the bucket. We'll grab those. That bucket and that bucket is what you're going to use, which what you really told the person is take something out of that bucket or that bucket. So we have to be careful on it.